Yamuna Pathak, would you come in at this point?
Yeah. See, you cannot really blame the country for some tourist, mistake. Definitely, it's eroding our country's credibility by such shameful and devastating acts. Let me tell you, because the kind of story which I have seen, I've been to, like what the news items what I have read. It's not just hangers or electronics or toiletries what they have actually stolen. They're also mentioned that they have stolen some artifacts. And let me tell you, because I want to stress on the point of artifacts, because artifacts are basically natural objects, could be plant made. Sometimes it can be, every country has their own, which can depict the cultural importance of that particular country. It could be anything. It could be of plant material, or it could be, of some archaeological interest. So these kind of things will definitely have a serious problem for the tourists who have done that. See, if it is about $8, see, that's really a shameful act what they have done. But if it is an artifact, yes, because the time, even if the hotels doesn't notice it, by the time they go to the airports, there'll be a check. And someone it's up of souvenirs or some kind of an artifacts which are of greater importance, where people put on display for their countries, as a mark of their country's respect or the culture. So if that kind of things are involved when they go for a scrutiny or, the check which really happens, and that's the time these tourists will be in a soup.
So you're saying even if they would have gotten away with it from the hotel, if it was something of, if it was an important artifact, they could have been caught later at the airport.
Yes,
so
in the airports.
One should be very cautious. Dr. Nanditesh, if you can
Mr.
hear me now, would you come in at this point?
I wanted to tell you something. Just add something, because even
yes,
you are not supposed to even carry seeds or plant material to airports. You need to have, there will be a strict scrutiny, not just about Indonesia or any other country. There will be a strict scrutiny in the airports. So one has to be, and that definitely demand a stricter punishment or a heavy penalty by the respective governments. And one has to observe this.
Yamuna Pathak, why should we be traveling to a country and then feeling cornered in a sense of being, looked with a different prism really, to segregate us from the rest of the tourists and have, separate advisories be printed out? Time for us to take lessons and correct our behavior if there's anything wrong with it?
Definitely. See, one thing I wanted to clearly state is, most of the time tourists are not aware about the law of the land. That's really a big disgrace, because if you must have heard about canning, and Indonesia is no way exception from that. If you talk about countries which use this form of punishment, we have Singapore, Brunei, Indonesia, Malaysia, and some African countries. What happens? Why is canning ordered? Basically, in some countries, is anyone who has committed a range of offences, including kidnapping, robbery. I'm specifically saying robbery, child abuse, sexual abuse, and using weapons.
That's
and
a very good point.
Let me tell you, and there is robbery in it. And let me tell you, the offender is ordered to strip naked and examined by a doctor and then whacked on their bare bottom at full force. Okay, and the amount of strokes is dependent on the crime, and the canning officer leaves it almost for every 10 to 15 seconds, and this kind of scar will be left on the offender for more than a month. And why is that people don't understand these kind of punishments? Even if they are not, see, the hotel people are at least, okay, they left him, but definitely they'll be caught in the airport. And because of the artifacts I'm stressing about. And one has to understand, even in some of the Middle East countries.
They've been very lucky, in fact. They've been very lucky.
And exactly, it's a big disgrace
because,
and a shame.
Law of the land is very important.
And one more thing I want to say, in some of the Middle East countries,
and then quickly I'll go back to Dr. Nanditesh.
I just want to say one thing.
Ma'am, we're running out of time.
Yes, Major Mohammed Ali. We're running out of time, so I'll quickly say a very pertinent point. On 22nd July, just a few days back, I have the
Okay, 1 second.
with me.
30 seconds to Yamuna Pathak. 30 seconds to Yamuna Pathak, please.
See, if in some countries like Middle East countries, people literally chop their hands off for being theft. And why is that people ignore? They have to follow the law of the land.
So the bottom line
and you
being
do all
you have
such
to be aware of the law of the land.
Things, and you expect Indian embassies and the country to rescue you. That's not fair. That's not fair. And people have to behave logically.
Major Mohammed Ali Shah, please come.
Sorry, I will pay.
I know you have a lot of money.
Extra money, I will pay.
This is no respect.
Stop yelling, yeah?
We've all all seen it, heard about it, maybe have even indulged in it to some extent. But this latest incident takes the cake, ladies and gentlemen. Indian tourists are being slammed on social media because a few Desi tourists stooped to a new low in Bali in Thailand, and it's there for everybody to see and judge them. A video of an Indian family caught stealing a range of accessories from a Bali hotel has gone viral on social media. The 2-minute 39-second clip shows one of the hotel staff scanning the family's luggage as they were on their way out from the hotel after checkout. And in this video, a woman can be seen arguing with the officials from the hotel who seem to be vigorously going through the suitcases. Apparently, the family had stolen whatever they could get their hands on, from decorative items, toiletries, electronics like hair dryers, towels, cane box perhaps in which cotton balls are stored, small mirror, soap dispenser, you name it. They didn't even leave the hangers. The family wanted to evade any action and was looking to hush things up, citing the fact that they had a flight to catch. And as if that wasn't embarrassing enough, they offered to pay for the items. The hotel staff, quick to realize, refused the offer. And before we move on, you must watch and listen in to what exactly happened. Here are a few seconds from that 2-minute 39-second clip.
You don't need money.
No.
Ako police, yeah?
No. Don't call police. We are paying. This is family too. We are paying.
You have to get us right. I don't care.
See, you yelling to us. Now we can prove you stop. Why you yelling just now?
Sorry.
Just pleading that if we
Please.
really know about
Stop
it,
yelling, yeah?
so please we have to catch up.
Stop yelling. Now you calling down. After we can prove it. See? After we can prove it all, now you cooling down. Before you yelling just like hell.
You pay it all.
Stop it.
We have to go.
छोड़ो मम्मी बाहर आ जाओ
उनको निकालने दे. Yeah, this kind of thing.
you take whatever you want to take then tell
Pay करो भैया.
Yeah, my image Bali again. This is now about Bali image.
Now, viewers, isn't this utterly shameful and downright embarrassing? A family that has apparently enough money to travel to an exotic holiday location in Bali, stooping so low, bringing disgrace to the image of all Indian tourists. This isn't the first, and it's definitely not going to be the last such case. But why should some Desi tourists sully the ethical, normal traveler's image? Do they not have the basic civility, a sense of right and wrong? What about ethics? Will this not further damage the image of you and I when we check into a Bali resort now or anywhere that this clip has been watched and slammed? What's wrong with these people? Naming and shaming such people is right, but what's the problem and what's the solution? I think that's important. There is a false sense of entitlement that some of these people have, and that must be slammed, it must be shunned. This must be a lesson for anyone and everyone who has these ideas in their head that just because you pay for a room at a hotel that you can do whatever it is that you like, everything belongs to you. Atithi Devo Bhava, guest is a god. These are the values and principles that we've espoused. Certainly not these people. Let's debate this.